Hello, IT Nation. Sean Lardo here, Economy Evangelist at ConnectWise, for another installment of everybody's favorite now. I'm sure it's everybody's favorite on IT Nation, where we talk about PitchIT, which is my favorite, so it has to be your favorite. Just for some key points here to talk about before we bring on some guests, we recently just put out the press release a week ago to announce the opening enrollment, open application for any of the vendors out there, startup vendors that are looking to come after the coveted prize of PitchIT Champion. This application period is open from February 1st till April 30th. Now, we only select certain vendors that we feel are a good fit. We do look through everything about them, from what their company does, the product. It has to do two major things. I can tell you this right now. One is it has to be able to integrate into ConnectWise. Two, it has to follow with the core mission of ConnectWise, which is supporting our partners, the TSP and MSPs. So if you are a product that does do this and you already have clients, partners that are using it, then please, by all means, you need to apply. But I don't want to talk too much about me or the program specific. I'll let others do that for me instead. So without further ado, I do want to bring on 2023's PitchIT Champion, one of my good friends, Bobby Jacobs from Thread. How you doing, man?
Thanks, Sean. Good to see you, man. Thanks for having me on. Super excited to hang out today.
Absolutely. And, I'm glad that we can both be in hotel rooms talking to each other. I feel like that's just the life we live.
Sean, you're in Tampa, right?
I am in Tampa. Yes, I am in Tampa.
Yeah. ConnectWise is taking over Tampa this week. I'm in St. Pete, out of Vol. Where are you at?
I am in the Hilton across from the corporate office, actually. I'll be attending Automation Nation, which is happening here in Tampa, plus our revenue kickoff. So, yeah. So I guess thank you for your patronage and being a good vendor in the system.
Yeah.
So, as I said, you guys won last year. It was actually, I gotta say this very carefully. It was a very difficult competition. It might have been harder in 2023, harder than it was in 2022.
I believe it.
Right.
I mean, hey, there were 26 incredible vendors that we got to work with, integrate with, compete with. I have never seen a year with better vendors.
I would agree. So I'm going to give you like a 30, because it's about PitchIT, I'll give you a 30-second window to do your elevator pitch of who Thread is.
Sure. At Thread, we help MSPs create magical experiences by meeting their customers where they live in something like Microsoft Teams. Phone is a super expensive way to provide support. Email is a really bad way to provide support. So we say death to the ticket. There's no way to treat somebody. Thread empowers the end customer to chat with their IT provider inside something like Microsoft Teams. So it opens a ticket in ConnectWise. The MSP can triage it and dispatch it just like they normally would. They can handle it in real time or when they're ready, provide a magical experience. We see over a 30% decrease in time to resolution for chat-based tickets. Now, we also will use AI to write all the time entries, prioritize tickets, categorize tickets, do a lot of really cool stuff, creating service magic.
Awesome. Thank you for that. See, so that was actually, you're so much more polished than a year ago.
Absolutely. Hey, we went through PitchIT. It'd be pretty bad if it was the other way around.
Right? If it got worse, I know. So, all right. So we're going to pause for a second here. We're going to bring up the other guest, and this would be 2022's PitchIT champion, coincidentally speaking, also your head coach from last year.
That's right.
Yeah. So, and again, 2022 champion, Cam from AlertOps. Can we bring him on? What's up, Cam?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Going great. I'm in Tampa. Bobby's in St. Pete. Where are you located, Cam, today?
In India, South India right now.
Nice. That's not where you're typically from, right?
Nope. Chicago. So substantially warmer right now.
Oh my. Yeah. Well, Pittsburgh to Florida, substantially warmer. It's funny. I got off the plane yesterday in Orlando. I had to do a keynote this morning, and I got off yesterday. It was morning. Around afternoon, I get to the hotel. I come out. I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like sweating. So I have a hoodie, take it off. I look around. People got like parkas on, man. I'm like, this is great weather. I could get a sunburn.
Yeah, man. I was wearing a flannel and a jacket on the plane, and then I got out and I was like, oh, that's not going to work.
So I want to go into some things, but first, just like I did for Bobby, I'm going to give you a chance to do an elevator pitch of what AlertOps is, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So AlertOps is effectively the last line of defense between humans and technology, right? When hits the fan, you essentially need to be notified with the right message to the right people at the right time, and AlertOps ensures that happens.
Awesome. You know what? That was pretty friggin' thorough. Okay, good. So now let's talk a little bit about experiences here. I think this is, Bobby refers to magical experiences. I feel like our time together has always been a magical experience, right? And Bobby, I'll start with you. You went through the PitchIT program last year. You mentioned 26 vendors. It was our biggest ever. What are some of the takeaways? What did you think about the program as a whole?
Yeah, it was incredible. It's called PitchIT. Pitching's great. I think our pitch has gotten better. It culminates in this big pitch at the end. But I really think you should rebrand it because it's more about the 4 months of the accelerator program with, at least 16 different speakers. I think it's more than that, that are really teaching you how to build a company to serve MSPs, whether it's about the MSP market, how to go to market, how to run your LinkedIn, how to think about funding. That's the core of the program. The pitch at the end is just a way for people to win a prize and get some marketing done. And I love it. Very thankful for the prizes that we won. But the 4 months of the program where you're learning from people is the best part to me.
Yeah, I would love to change that over to, but we had to have a name for our competition.
It's a good name.
We trademarked it, so we're kind of in it.
That's awesome. I just think people don't know about all the other cool stuff that's a part of the program.
Right. I would agree. I think. Well, I remember whenever you guys first came on the orientation call early, and we lay out all the groundwork. We do it on purpose to set the expectation of the amount of work that's involved. And it's funny because I'm watching everybody's face on video, right? And they're like, some people are like there's this much. I'm like, yeah, it's that much. Yeah, and you have to allocate X amount of time. You have no choice. It becomes a second job almost, but it's things you were going to have to do regardless. If you're going to grow a business, these are things you would be doing. The only thing is we're helping you to accelerate.
Absolutely. It's super worth it. It's not at all like a drag on your time, but to your point, you do have to choose to work on your business and not in your business for a little bit.
Good call. I just did that in my keynote today. Talked about that. That's such a good plug for that. Cam,
there you go.
How your experience? 2022 was the first year we came out with the accelerator. Like you got V2, Bobby, of the incubated accelerator program. So V1, Cam, how did you feel? Like, what were some of the key takeaways and points that you picked up, and what would you suggest?
Yeah, absolutely. Before I jump into that, I do have to say you said that it was a substantially hard decision for Bobby, so that means we won with ease. So thank you, appreciate that. But now, with that said, seriously though, it's amazing, right? Like from a company that was entering the MSP kind of realm, we didn't know where to start, where to go. And I think that the team, as well as the program in itself, provides a very clear roadmap as far as how to progress your business, not just from a sales and marketing side, but from a technical side, from virtually all angles that allow you to cater to the service provider ecosystem effectively. So I thought it was great.
Absolutely. No, and yeah, we did. Last year was the hardest year of competition, they say. But you being the previous winner, Cam, you were Bobby's head coach too. Jameson was your head coach. Do you want to say what you want to say about this? Because I know you want to.
The dynasty, baby.
so you essentially three-peated.
Three-peat.
Yeah.
So
I can't give Cam quite as hard of a time as he can give me because he was my coach. I wasn't his coach. So he gets credit for at least more than one full win.
I disagree with that wholeheartedly. I think that Bobby, you did virtually all the heavy lifting. I didn't have to do anything. Thread is a great product, and you guys have an amazing team. And your pitch was absolutely phenomenal.
I'm trying to be nice here, Cam. We don't have to tell everybody that you didn't help me.
Well, that was my next question was, Cam, what did you do to assist? Now I'm like,
well, I mean, Bob
nothing.
kind of
Nothing.
covered it here.
That was a joke. Cam did a ton of stuff. Go for it.
No, so like I'm curious because Cam, you were coached by Jameson, and I think one thing I noticed about everybody in the program in general from day one until the prelims even was the amount of adjustments and like that pain to make the adjustments because you think you got it nailed down on what you want to say, and then somebody tells you, "Yeah, I don't understand what you're saying completely.
Yep.
It's not as effective, right?" So and even once you go into the finals too, same rules still apply, right? There's still tweaks. I think it's a constant evolution no matter what, right? So when you were getting into the system of this, from Jameson to you to Bobby, how much did you steal from Jameson first off to make him a champion? And two, what adjustments did you help him? Did you notice and help him with?
Realistically, I stole everything from Jameson. Now, with that said, I'll say that there wasn't much that I needed to do, right? I think that Bobby and the Thread team really covered it. The most that I truly pitched in with was minor presentation advice, right? I think that beyond that, the tool speaks for itself and the team speaks for themselves. So there wasn't that much. And I think that Jameson definitely helped us a lot, right? And you and I have talked about this as far as knowing that you have a good product, but what's the best way to pitch it, right? And I think that is exactly where Jameson truly provided the most amount of help and support in our PitchIT vision or at PitchIT journey.
Absolutely. So, and Bobby, as far as what were the core areas you focused on to have a winning pitch?
Yeah, so I think some other things that Cam helped us with is really think about the Q&A. Like that's a big part of it. And there's a lot of heavy hitters in the room. And there's 2 rounds of the pitch, right? The first round is pitching to all the executives at ConnectWise, which is a big deal. Yes. And then the second round is easier in some ways because it's not all the executives of one of the biggest integrate partners that we have. It is a room full of people though, and it's live on stage. So they're very different in those ways, but Cam really did a great job of helping us think through how to handle the Q&A, what kinds of topics we want to be prepared for, how to talk about those things succinctly. But I think one of the biggest changes that we made was when we initially started working on our pitch, we were talking about kind of a boring, typical VC, like go to market, where we said, like, here's the size of the industry and this many hundreds of millions of people use Microsoft Teams. And we had a picture of a globe and it was like kind of cool. And then it was like, who cares? Like that, sure, that is impactful. But instead, we started with telling a story about how terrible it is to get support from your MSP today. And like really drove in the pain and tried to twist the knife on that pain, which is how any good pitch should be. But it took us a little bit to get to that point. Like we started by saying, like, here's how big of a problem we're solving, and this is why we can be $1 billion company, and just like very generic stuff. So that was a big thing that Cam and the program overall helped us like get to the pain faster.
No, I like that. I feel that if you start with the questions, then you're retrofitting into the conversation, right? Again, because if the Q&A is all around the pain points, which it typically is, right? Nobody asks questions unless it's like, this really hurts. How do I fix this? So I like that. And actually, it's funny because when Cam won, he came to me after the thing. He's like, yeah, I prepared for Q&A. He like literally told me immediately after. He's like, yeah, I crushed the questions. He said it right away. He's like, I crushed all the questions. And that was his key to success. And you're right, because you guys were able to do a 5-minute pitch on stage. You got 3 judges from 3 different walks of life that are seeing various from their own perspective, and they were able to afterwards you get your time for questions, right? And you could see right away where the conversations were leading and where if there was any kind of confusion, if they're completely confused, they don't even regard it. They disregard it, and you lose that opportunity. But if they are intrigued and they see that, oh, can it solve this also? That's what they were asking. I think that, and honestly, for both of you guys, I heard it at both of the competitions, you could tell the line of conversation and where it was going, which was solid. Nobody was confused about what you guys did or what you provided. So again, that's congratulations to both of you for being able to do a really good job. Plus, it makes me look like I did my job, which I appreciate.
Yeah, you did. Thanks for all the hard work that you and the whole team, put into this program. It's super cool.
Absolutely. Actually, the team here has been great. Like honestly, without having Andrea and Louie and Ashley, and now even the executives that were all involved in the judging, it became a far bigger program. It's one of the fastest growing programs in the industry now. So, and actually that takes me to my next point even. What did you guys learn about navigating ecosystems from this? Because you had to do a lot, right? So, and Cam, I'm going to start with you because you love this so much. The smirks at it all. You guys became a more predominant player in the ConnectWise economy.
100%. And I think that ConnectWise as a whole has done a phenomenal job of supporting its partners. I think the marketplace is awesome. Now, with that said, I think that throughout the incubator journey, there was predominantly from a marketing perspective, we learned exactly where and how to position ourselves. You and I have talked about this before. We really didn't know exactly how to articulate the value of our product to new service providers. Right now, with that said, once we understood, like Bobby said, the pain points, we understood exactly where to twist a knife, and we understood exactly where to place a knife. So in terms of the marketplace in itself, but also in terms of our presence on social media and how to approach that, as well as our presence generally from a digital marketing standpoint. What and where do MSPs truly view a vendor as valuable? And I think that was probably the biggest benefit that we've seen from the incubator program.
I like that you said exactly where and how they view you, right? Where it's being amongst the same people or like-minded people to establish a level of credibility, at least, right? It's the same reason why Doritos and Pepsi and Coke still sponsor Super Bowl ads, right? You already know they exist, but if they didn't sponsor, if you didn't see the Anheuser-Busch commercial, people are like, well, what's going on? Are you going out of business, right? And they spend a pretty penny for those commercials, my Lord. But that is absolutely spot on. And I'll kick it over to you, Bobby, because you guys have made a huge push this year. You did every year, actually. You guys, I'll tell you what, I'll give it up to Mark and Matt and whatnot. They've always stepped up and they've always tried to do more, which I love, and put you guys on the map. But you guys are literally involved in every Evolve pair group this year. You're going to be involved in our user groups here this year in Chicago. You're also going to be involved. You're also involved in you sponsored for Secure and Connect. So literally, I'm going to see you almost all year. We're going to be so close this year. What's the game plan around that? What prompted you to actually do all that?
Yeah. So I think starting with that original question of like, how did the program help us learn to work with the community more, something along those lines?
Mm-hmm.
One, just introducing us to a ton of the community. There's 26 vendors that are all in the space, that are all hustling, meeting MSPs, helping people get big ROIs to make an impact on their business, just getting to be around all of those people. And I mentioned, getting to connect and all of those things. Then when you're at conferences in person and you're able to collaborate with those people, and then even just learn where to go, like, especially for vendors that don't have a lot of visibility into the MSP space, but even for us who have been to a ton of conferences already and, come from MSPs, PitchIT still does such a great job of making intros, especially on the digital side, like getting us on webinars, getting us to work with Marvin B. I'd never been on his podcast before. I didn't really know Marvin B super well, but now I do, and they're super awesome. And there's a bunch of other opportunities like that you guys provided. Now we are really doubling and tripling down in the ConnectWise ecosystem because we love getting to work with you and with the community as a whole. So yeah, we're going to every single ConnectWise thing that we can because we love working with MSPs who are bought into this community too.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think you saying what you said there, which was Bobby's gone, so I'll keep talking as if he's here.
Sorry,
Welcome back, Bobby.
housekeeping came in.
I thought I heard housekeeping. Yes.
Yep.
So working with the community it's a vast community, right? And to add to the next step of this, which you both have done, you've done well, is one thing that we know the partners are looking for is the ability to have simple integrations, right? They're already using ConnectWise products, whether it's PSA, RMM, whatever it is, they're already using them. And we're always talking about stack alignment. And stack alignment is supposed to be two different sides, right? One is, does the product actually do what you need it to do as a product alone? The second part that's also equally important is, does it work with my other product that I use? And with ConnectWise being the core product of most of their day-to-day business operations, you guys both went down the path of becoming Invent certified integrators, right? And that's an investment in itself, not just monetarily even, but actually time. And so, and I'll come back around to Cam even. What prompted you to become a certified integrator? What was the important pieces to this?
So for us, and I'll start with this, right? So I built the ConnectWise integration, so I can tell you that there are a lot of companies out there that do not have as comprehensive of an API set that ConnectWise does. So you guys made it easy, and it was phenomenal, right? Now, with that said, I think that the reason that we did it was because there was an open market. Now, once we started having substantially more conversations, where that was driven was value, right? And when we found out the level of value that we were providing as an integration, then we started to expand substantially more. So I definitely think that the value is now what drives our innovation.
Absolutely, and that's fair. And I remember the conversation we had about that though, where you guys were the first in. Like there wasn't any competition. So how smart is it to be in there first to basically have the market hopefully on this, right? You're running the market. So I can totally appreciate that. Bobby, same question to you, man. What prompted you guys to become certified integrators, be part of that Invent program?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that ConnectWise offers to be able to work closer together. And a lot of our partners are in the MSP ecosystem. So, out of the gate, it was something we were very interested in because ConnectWise said we should be, and we trust ConnectWise. And it turns out, you guys are right. There's a lot of resources, like Cam said, around the API. And it, I think that program allows you guys to staff up the resources around the API support more so that we can integrate better and have more people to work with and, truly collaborate and not just look at documentation, which you guys do have great documentation around your API, but to be able to get support and work with people on it. I think another big piece of it, which more MSPs are continuing to learn about and should be, is the security review that we go through to be a part of it. So you guys have done a code review of our code of any vendor who is Invent certified. You've done different security reviews and such, and so it should give MSPs a really good, a lot of confidence around the vendors they're working with that are Invent certified, especially with earlier stage vendors that may not have all of the super intense certifications, like they may not be SOC 2 Type 2 and all these types of things yet. But Invent is something that MSPs can use to be able to work with vendors that maybe don't have those things yet. And so that's a huge piece for us to have that stamp.
No, I like that. I think it's one of the important things that, and because you're all coming out of the gate startups, right? You're building your brands. It's back to the people you hang out with, right? Back to who says you're okay. It's like the JD Power Award, right? There is a reason why every commercial talks about the JD Power Award. They want to they want to literally have the ability to say to get instant credibility almost, right? Because somebody certified them, an approving authority certified them. And one thing that we did want to hammer down on over the last few years was exactly that security thing. Considering the last 3 years, cybersecurity has been the top conversation. It has become the top conversation of everything. And you've watched some very big companies get in trouble because of this, not following. And the worst thing that we could do and do a disservice is not vet out vendors properly and put you guys through I say putting you through the ringer, but I don't want to discourage you from doing it. But
No,
the
you're
ringer is
good. It's good.
the ringer is important for you guys, and you guys have gone through, and I appreciate that because it also puts you in a position to actually talk from a position of authority and credibility. And again, the integration piece makes it easy. So for and by the way, Dave Make from Defense X is watching us. Obviously, he loves all of us, and I make sure I say that because he was texting me. He's like, "Why when you getting started?" And I only want to highlight the fact because Bobby, I talked about you guys doubling down on your investment here, but so did Cam. You did last year, especially IT Nation Connect with Defense X. You guys had really, really, really dope key cards. They were actually nice. They actually looked really good. How did you guys even get together?
Dude, Dave's just a cool guy. What can I
He
say?
is a cool guy, right? He is. Dude, you could throw him in any room, and by the time he walks out of the room, he's friends with everybody.
100%.
I think he's in all the official PitchIT pictures.
Yeah, he got into pictures when Bobby won. He's like, yeah, I'm getting a picture with everybody. It was actually all of us. It's like the best picture from you and in PitchIT, Bobby, we have. With me, you, Cam, and Dave's in the picture in the middle. He's like in the middle, like it's his championship. He is so good at that. He's like Norm from Cheers. Everybody loves this guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, see, Dave, don't worry. Look at his picture too. He literally looks like he should be singing like a Barry Manilow's greatest hit album. You're welcome. You're welcome, Dave. You're welcome. Dave's a good friend. Seriously, he's a really good friend. But but you guys all have invested. But my question though is, for the guys that are watching this, the men and women are watching this that are startups and they're wondering, and I'll start with you, Cam. Why should somebody apply?
I think that realistically it gives you a sense of direction, especially within the MSP industry, right? Gives you a sense of direction. Now, from incubator standpoint, you learn a phenomenal amount as far as where and how to direct your business. But the marketing initiative too, right? The amount of visibility that you get as an emerging vendor that you otherwise would not be able to. ConnectWise does a phenomenal job of putting you in touch with some of the people that are arguably the most visible personalities in the ecosystem. So you're getting not only direction, but you're getting, in my opinion, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of marketing for free, right? So I think that overall, the experience will give you a substantial level of exposure that you would otherwise strive and work years to achieve.
That's that makes the program sound phenomenal. My God, now I have even bigger shoes to fill. Bobby, can you make it dumb down a little bit for me so I can actually accomplish the mission for the year?
Well,
Cam and
I think it's
really good about this.
I love the marketing. Cam makes a great point, and we've talked about this earlier. Early stage entrepreneurs, you have to be pretty prideful to start your own company and, really confident. And so it can be humbling to join an accelerator program where you're there to learn. Learning is huge. If you're not learning while you're doing your startup, then it's probably not going to be successful. But to join a program like this, you have to be especially humble. And I think leaning into the marketing piece of even if you think you know everything, even if you think every person that you're going to hear from, you already know better, you're still going to get a ton of marketing out of it. And that is at least a reason to do it. On top of that, you don't know everything and you are going to learn a lot from the 16 different people. If you don't know right now that you can go look at your LinkedIn score, then that's something you would learn. I learned that in the PitchIT program, that there's a page on LinkedIn where I can put my name in and it shows me my score on a daily basis of how good I am on LinkedIn. It's super cool. That's one small thing that we have implemented at Thread that, we compete now to see who has the best LinkedIn score. And it's made a pretty big impact. And that's just one of at least dozens of small things that we've taken away from it.
Yes, I love learning. It's a self-assessment on what to do. I feel like when you're in a startup, your primary goal is to make sure you have a product that works and serves a purpose. And then the other side is how the hell do you build this? How do you build interest so people know, not the product, but the actual, it's if you build it, they will come, right? Yeah, you built a product, but this is not Field of Dreams. But now you got to build how you're going to get out there, and people are going to know it exists. You got to build that network, and I think that actually having coaches like Heather and Michelle and Scott Scroggin and all these different people that actually give you a way to identify who the customers are, the target audience, and how to speak to them, or how to reach them, and also how to keep yourself in check, right? How to really, again, back to that self check, like, hell, have I done this? Let me check and see if I've done it. I think these are big parts of it. And so you guys all did a really good job at it. Cam, not so much on social media, but that's okay. I'm not passing judgment. He knows this already about himself. We've had this conversation at least 1,000 times. But no, at large though, you both did a really nice job at navigating the network like you should. Navigating the network and being able to get you in a position where people noticed you. And probably we're going to wrap this up in a few minutes. One thing also, you talked about the marketing, the training. You both won the grand prize of $70,000. Congrats on that. That's great to have.
That's a good reason to do it. I don't know if we specifically mentioned that.
we did not specifically mention it. But you both won 70 grand for doing this, that you applied all back to reinvesting into the community. But, what about, how was your experience and your growth during the course of it? How well did you do? Because I know that, and Cam, I'm coming back to you first. When you went through this, I know one of the big things was how to get more people to know who you guys were and get more attraction. Yep. So how did this work out for you?
Worked out very well. And I think that the initiatives, once again, in the marketplace is phenomenal. But I keep using that word.
It's unprecedented, Cam. Unprecedented.
Oh, yeah. All right. But yeah, overall, I think that it starts a conversation. All right. And it becomes a lot easier to start a conversation. The second that we won, all of a sudden, people that didn't know that they need us no longer wait for us to talk to them. They talk to us. And then we can tell them exactly where the gaps are and we can fill them. And I think that overall, PitchIT from a visibility standpoint has been great.
Perfect. Absolutely. And I think you had like a 300% increase in like lead creation or something through the marketplace as a result of the PitchIT program.
Yep.
So that's actually fantastic. It's hard, right? It's hard generating leads and get people to know what you do prior to. Yeah. I mean, the buyer's journey has changed. It had changed a long time ago. People are smarter, but they have to be able to find you. SEO became a big thing at one point. Still is a big thing, right? People are looking. They Google everything. I mean, I Googled my rent a car. I was like, where am I renting from? And do they have a location where I can drop off where I need to drop off? Bobby, for you, again, 170 grand. But what was the real victory for you guys?
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I'm excited. I'm really excited for this year to be in the ConnectWise ecosystem and go to a lot of conferences and stuff. Cam's talking about people walking up to him and knowing who he is. This is my first day at a show since we won. So I'm super excited to get to know a lot more people at IT Nation. It was incredible. We connected, directly with a ton of MSPs at the show. Sorry, my Wi-Fi might be going out a little bit. Sorry about that.
You're good. You're doing well so far.
Yeah, so that was a huge piece of it.
Can we drill into that for one quick second? At IT Nation Connect, you guys had your Tom Cruise lookalike. You had your tattoo artist that I totally took everything.
There we go. Sean got the tattoo at the booth. It's real, still on.
It is. Look at that thing. It looks nice. You did a lot of really good things to create some awareness. Also, the keynote from Jason McGee clearly acknowledged.
Our COO just texted me. He was like, "Talk about the keynote, dummy!" Like that was the biggest thing you guys got on the keynote.
Yep, you were on the keynote, and it was great to do. It was great to see it. But how many demos did you walk away from? Because you got a lot of attention. You can't close business there. So, but I remember you guys saying a number, and I forget what that number was.
Yeah, about 180. We did about 180 demos with MSPs between IT Nation and the new year, which is pretty awesome. And that's cool. If you're an MSP or someone else listening to this, you might be like, oh, cool. They talk to a lot of MSPs. I think what is really great about us getting that support and being able to talk to more MSPs without spending more money. Like if I'm an MSP, I could go spend $100 million on marketing, right? Assumedly that I have that money, but then I have to charge a ton to be able to make that money back, right? Mm-hmm. And I probably wouldn't close any customers. And so for us, the more efficiently that we can get our name out there and like Cam said, help people know that we can help them, then the more money we can put into our product and it goes into your pricing and everything else, we're able to run a more efficient business, which ultimately benefits the MSP. So thank you to ConnectWise for helping us run a more efficient business.
Look at that. We are the great end all be all of everything, obviously. All right. So we're going to get ready to wrap this up. We're going to close this out, but I'm going to let you guys close out for me first before I say goodbye. And Cam, I'm going to go back to you. Any final talk points or anything that we haven't covered that you think that it should be mentioned?
I mean, I could talk about how great you are, but I feel like I've given you your flowers already. So I'll say this, right? For
I like flowers.
Yeah. Any emerging vendor out there, right? Especially targeting the service provider industry. I think that ConnectWise does a phenomenal job of cultivating the strengths that you already have and knowing exactly where to showcase them. And it helps you realize that. So 100%, if you're a startup, if you're an emerging vendor, join PitchIT.
Thank you, Bobby.
Hey, yeah, before Cam goes, I just had a thought. If we're both coaches this year, which we may not be, but if we're both coaches this year,
we can't.
Then it won't be the same tree. The tree will split.
Oh no, we definitely can't. We gotta continue the dynasty, man. Come on.
Cam's already saying no.
Works,
if he'd be approached for coaching, Cam's already saying no. Look, he's like, I can't do this. Okay. All right.
Maybe we'll coach the same person. Yeah, I mean, parting thoughts. You should do it. If you're a vendor who's thinking about it, like, just do it. There's no reason not to apply to be a part of PitchIT. That's all I have to say. It's that simple.
No, that's fair. That's really all you do have to say. I couldn't agree more, by the way. I could not agree more. Dave will take both of you. I'm not going to get into that. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for being a huge part of the program and the success of the program. You both were. I appreciate that you guys are always willing to step up and share the good news. It's asking a lot sometimes, especially considering Cam, you're in India when you don't even live there. So time zone is definitely different. So I appreciate you jumping on for that. Yeah, for those of you that are watching, again, we have the link at the bottom scrolling across in the banner there on how to go to the PitchIT website and apply. You have to do a short form, then you have to do a long form. And make sure you know that we are going to look at your digital footprint. We're going to look at your website. We're going to make sure you're legitimate before we put you in the program. Not everybody gets in. We have plenty more applications than actually make it. So you have to be actually a business. You have to actually solve a problem for MSPs. You have to be able to integrate to ConnectWise. And you have to have customers that are actually happy with you. That's simple. I think it's as simple as it can be. But yeah, we look forward to this season. I'm Cam, Bobby. I know I'll see you throughout the season and through all the events. Secures in June. I know that. Bobby, I'll see you on Sunday in Punta Cana for NerdioCon.
Right, NerdioCon.
Sounds horrible. Horrible time. But yes, thank you guys again. Thank you for all IT Nation that you're watching. I look forward to seeing you all on the flip side, guys. Doodles.